Dennis Schroeder is over now. He's talking about why they're challenging. And you see Garrett Temple, Thaddeus Young. I think the Raptors actually kind of looking around going, and Darko's now talking to Joe Mazzulla. Yeah.
Well, they play in 6 days.
Yep.
What did I say before about having...
I like the fact that Darko came over there.
I agree with you. What did I just say?
An ugly loss by all accounts. Maybe the worst loss of the season. Probably the worst loss of the season for the Toronto Raptors, as they lost 117-94 to the Boston Celtics. This one was interesting to begin, but got out of hand quickly as the Raptors struggled to score and defend against a highly potent Celtics team.
I thought that we were one step slow from the start of the game. We did not have pop that we usually have. And for us, playing with a lot of energy, covering distances, being like in our shifts, using our length, that's a big deal, the way we play. But tonight we were one step late, Obviously they shoot the ball really well, so I thought that we were kind of like hugging our man a little bit too much, and that opened up a paint a lot. So definitely something for us to watch on film and to address.
The Raptors generally struggled to score the ball in this one. They finished the night shooting 38% from the field and shot 27% from behind the arc. Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby, who until recently had been shooting the lights out, shot 4 of 17 from behind the arc. Pascal Siakam led all Raptors with 17 points, but even he finished the night on 6 of 17 shooting. Pretty much everyone on the team struggled offensively in this one, and we'll get into why in the film room, but maybe the loudest of the bunch was Scotty, who went 4 of 15 on the night and couldn't get himself going offensively. But still, in spite of that, Darko wants him to continue stepping into his shots with confidence.
Love his shots. He's taking open shots. I wish he took more. I think he had a couple of more wide open shots that he was supposed to take. He needs to take them, and he'll make them.
On the defensive side of the ball, it wasn't any better. The Celtics caused headaches for the Raptors, who got stretched out by the Celtics' 5-out offense. Kristaps Porzingis put up 21 points, and he ultimately helped space the floor and allow both Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown to feast on the inside. They combined for 56 points on the night, 30 of which were inside the paint.
I mean, it gives them a lot of flexibility. I think that's the toughest part. You can't really hone in on one part of their offense, or even when they play two-man game with him, like the ability for almost everybody that's coming off that screen to just go one-on-one, and so you got to respect that, and then you got to respect the fact that he can pop and roll. So there's no real time to get used to one coverage. You got to be able to play like 2-3 coverages at the same time and react to what they're doing in the moment. So that's obviously not easy, but we'll get used to it. We'll get better at it. We've seen them once now. Like, that was the first time we played them with KP on the court. So yeah, we'll get better at it.
And that's pretty much it. The Raptors kept it close in the first half, but the Celtics blew the game wide open in the second, and that's all she wrote. Ultimately, the Celtics are a tough matchup for the Raptors because they can match their size and their athleticism on the wings, and in the front court, they have the shooting, ball handling, and defense to take away what the Raptors want to do as far as forcing turnovers and getting out in transition. A lot of that has to do with Porzingis and the way he opens up the floor for the rest of the Celtics, and since on the Raptors side of things, there wasn't much to highlight, I'm going to jump into the film room and dive into what Porzingis did tonight that really makes the Celtics that potent. Let's do it. All right, so Porzingis poses a unique problem for the Raptors in the fact that on offense and defense, he is so incredibly skilled, so unique, obviously because of his length, his ability to make shots from the outside, that he stretches out the Raptors' defense and also makes it impossible for them to dominate on the inside, which is how they like to win basketball games. The Celtics were more than fine with the Raptors taking open threes. They said, "We dare you to make these shots," and it was because of Kristaps Porzingis. So let's break it down. Okay, it's sort of a double-fold problem because the Celtics guards and wings are so good at locking and trailing, so the Celtics are more comfortable putting Porzingis in a deep drop, and they're essentially walling off the paint here. If you look at where Schroeder is in this pick and roll setup, where Porzingis is just camped out in the paint, he's essentially saying you are not going to take a shot within 5 feet of the rim. You are going to settle for a mid-range jumper, and we are going to live with that result every single possession. And here, yeah, Schroeder gets a floater. Derek White gets a hand on it as well. That's a shot the Celtics will live with every single day. Even on a good shooter like OG Anunoby, who the Raptors trust to make and take shots, the Celtics are still running a deep drop because they are confident in their forwards and wings chasing over that screen. Look at Jayson Tatum here, getting a nice contest on that OG Anunoby shot. And the same situation here for Pascal Siakam. Once again, a deep drop. And if we pause it here, look at where Jayson Tatum is helping at the nail. Look at where Sam Hauser is helping as the low man. Same thing with Al Horford. And you look at Kristaps Porzingis, his size, his 7'2" frame, and all of the help around him. The Raptors' spacing wasn't doing them any favors, but also the Celtics were more than comfortable with either living with a Malachi Flynn three-point attempt, a Otto Porter Jr. three-point attempt, or a Scotty Barnes three-point attempt. They just didn't want Pascal Siakam to get to the rim, and they achieved that by letting him do a floater from about 8 feet out. And even the post-up stuff that the Raptors were so good at this season, especially Scotty Barnes and Pascal Siakam, just isn't as effective against this team because they're big. They can compete on the inside against their bigs as well, and it's not as big of a matchup advantage for the Raptors. Here, Scotty Barnes posts up Al Horford. Al Horford is a big body too. He can't rise over top and finish. And even without Porzingis, the Celtics were helping off of shooters all night. We look at Pascal Siakam. He gets Derek White in the post. Still, Derek White, strong defender, can maybe keep his own. Still, Pascal has pretty deep post position. This should be a good matchup for him. The Celtics very, very easily help off of the three-point line. Drew Holiday comes in for a double team. Pascal makes the right decision to kick it out, but it's Dennis Schroeder, who, yes, is hitting and making his shots a lot this season, but ultimately, you're okay living with a Dennis Schroeder three-point shot from above the break than Pascal Siakam 5 feet away from the rim. And the Raptors tried to counter this. They did. They initiated a lot of actions with Jakob Poeltl at the high post, and even if Jakob wasn't getting the respect from Porzingis like he did on this possession where Porzingis is essentially sagging off of him and daring him to take that 10-foot jumper. Jakob took 10 shots tonight, was 6 of 10. He was good, effective, but ultimately, you don't want your center being the guy taking 10 shots and being 6 of 10 and essentially relying on your offense on this guy, Jakob Poeltl. Ultimately, you don't want that to be the main source of your offense, and despite that leading to a score on this possession, it ultimately wasn't something that probably benefited the Raptors tonight. And on offense, for the Celtics, Porzingis' three-point shooting threat, his ability to, one, operate as a vertical spacer and also space the floor out, makes it so much harder for the Raptors to play this aggressive style, force turnovers, and then get out and running. They couldn't do that at all tonight because of Porzingis. The Celtics love to run this 5-out offense. Here, Porzingis is setting a pin down for Jaylen Brown, who curls off of it. They give it to Porzingis. He just beats Jakob Poeltl off of the dribble and goes all the way to the rim. That's an incredible amount of skill on a 7'2" player, and not only causes a problem for the Raptors, but for a lot of teams. And in these high pick and roll actions, it's sort of picking your poison here. Jakob Poeltl has to choose whether he's going to contain the drive that Derek White is doing right now, or if he's going to help out on Jakob Poeltl, who is, popping out to the three-point line. In this situation, there's a miscommunication. OG Anunoby goes out to get to Porzingis, Jaylen Brown, a wide open three, and he bangs it. The 5-out offense stretches out the Raptors defense here in this example. 5-out offense again. This time it is Jayson Tatum and Porzingis pick and roll. And look, you have OG Anunoby on Tatum. This is one of your best defenders. You trust him to get over, but still, Tatum is so skilled, so incredible, and Jakob is so high at the level of the screen that Tatum just beats him off the dribble. And because of Porzingis' spacing, because Porzingis is popping out, you can easily get to the rim there. Again, another high pick and roll situation. Look how high the Celtics are setting up these screens. And because Jakob Poeltl just isn't fast enough, Porzingis gets the corner. There's another ball screen scenario here. Another pick and roll that the Raptors have to cover. Another mismatch. Porzingis takes advantage. Another pick and roll here. High pick and roll with Tatum and Porzingis. This time he kicks it out to Drew Holiday, who gets the dribble penetration. That's a pretty weak closeout by Pascal Siakam. And then Raptors defense is in rotation. Porzingis makes them pay again. This time off of a Spain pick and roll, the Raptors switch. It's Tatum on Pirtle, and he takes full advantage and goes to the rim. Now, the thing is that Scottie Barnes can't help off of Porzingis here because Porzingis is such a good lob threat as well around the rim. High pick and roll once again. This time the Raptors switch, and as I said, Porzingis is such a good lob threat. Siakam comes over to help, and that makes the weak side wide open. Porzingis, an alley-oop. And because of Porzingis' skill as a playmaker as well, at his size, the Raptors were getting killed on these back cuts, reject to dribble handoff scenarios, and Scottie Barnes was really poor in this one defensively. I thought he missed his assignment a lot of times as well. And ultimately, them's the breaks, folks. It was an ugly one for the Raptors. This is a tough matchup for them, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. I actually think the Porzingis situation maybe made it even harder for this team, and I think ultimately the Raptors are going to struggle to match up against teams that can match them in their physicality and size this season. If you'll remember, if you were watching the Raptors last season, you remember that they struggled with the Orlando Magic as well. And that was because the Orlando Magic are a big, tall, lanky team, much like the Raptors, and they can match their physicality and size on the inside. When you saw the Mavericks get dominated by the Raptors in their last game, it was because the Mavericks are a smaller team. The Raptors can take full advantage in the post, and they did. But when it comes to teams that are bigger, the Minnesota Timberwolves in opening night might have been a good example. This Celtics team is a really good example. I assume the Lakers this season, who are a bigger team, will also pose some problems for them. I ultimately think those type of teams are going to be a headache for the Raptors to deal with all year, and it's just because the Raptors rely so much on their physicality and their size being their advantage. Not their shooting, not their ball handling, not their creation off of the dribble. It's their sheer size that they're trying to use at their advantage, and they can't do that against teams like the Boston Celtics. Plus, the Celtics are a really good team. Really good in the sense that I could see them winning the championship in June. So you're playing a good team. It's a tough matchup for you as well. And ultimately, you didn't have what it took defensively as well. Now, to be fair, the Raptors kept it close in the first half. They had some counters to what the Celtics were doing, and they play them again this week. So maybe we'll see something different. Maybe they go into the film room and adjust. But for now, Monday, Washington. They're back home after an 11-day road trip. So it should be good for the Raptors. And maybe, with Washington, one of the worst teams in the league, it might be good for the Raptors fans too. So take care, ladies and gentlemen. As always, subscribe, do the things you guys always do, and check out the Objective Basketball Podcast. We'll see you guys later.